Hello, everyone. We'll be starting the webinar in about 1 minute. We're just finalising the link to do a live feed on social media. So I'll be with you in a moment. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this webinar. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS, and today we're looking at strategic review. It's not too late. Quality time, it's a great term, isn't it? Need to think. Need to think without the distractions of day-to-day business activity. So let's go through some of the issues that I've identified for you to think about. Every business, yours, mine, all of your clients will benefit from taking some time out to think about the future. I think it should be implemented as an annual process for your firm and also for your clients. Unless your clients want to facilitate, this is a great opportunity for you to say to your clients, you will facilitate this very important event, strategic planning. And I think it's best undertaken in April, May and June, but July is not too late. Recently, I invited Andrew Geddes, a well-known Australian accounting guru, who was one of the joint founders of the Financial Management Research Centre at the University of New England, to join me in a podcast, ESS BIZTOOLS Business Advisory Services podcast. You can access it on our website if you wish, or from many of the normal podcast sites. And Andrew gave an overview of the services he gives to the clients that he still consults to, and in particular discussed two of his accounting firm clients. He's only got two these days, he tells me. One was a 40-employee firm with 5 partners, and the other one was a sole practitioner with 4 staff, of which a couple were part-time. Now, the sole practitioner had 12 virtual chief financial officer clients, so she was really implementing what we're going to talk about today, including the strategic review processing for each of those clients. Andrew also mentioned a 5-partner, 40-staff firm that was in regional New South Wales. And he indicated that he facilitates their strategic review each year and the follow-up quarterly reviews. Andrew also mentioned that he had already completed 8 strategic reviews for the businesses he still consults to as an executive chair. 8 had been completed by mid-June when we recorded that podcast. I've been asking a lot of accountants recently how many strategic reviews you've completed for your clients looking at 2023-24. A year that we understand is going to be very challenging. High interest rates, high inflation. Unfortunately, talk of a recession. So how are you going to help your clients get through those problems? So that's all my roundabout way of saying July's not too late to undertake a strategic review. In fact, probably no time in a year is too late to get you started on the process. Thank you for joining us today. I look forward to sharing with you my thoughts and some of Andrew Geddes's thoughts and comments that we explored during that podcast that I just mentioned. If you have any questions and you're watching this live as on our website, on our computers, please send me a note through the chat box and I will answer it later in the webinar. If you're watching this broadcast at one of the social media sites, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, you won't be able to just send a message back to me. If you have a question, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will get back to you. And if you're watching this video recording at a time more suitable to your day, your planning, please send me an email if you have questions, peter@essbiztools.com.au. And like everything in an accountant's life, preparation is vital. Plan well ahead so that the strategic review dates are locked in. In my days when I was a partner in a firm, we virtually had to do those things a year in advance. Lock the dates in and no one can change it. Partners and leadership team members should attend. This is one of Andrew Geddes' real specifications. It applies to a client as well as to an accounting firm, but more so to accounting and other professional consulting firms, because he believes that your pool of potential new owners to allow you to able to retire with dignity at some time in the future will come from your leadership team. And therefore, it's very important to get them involved in this process of thinking and planning the future at an early stage. And isn't that the most important thing that we as accountants can deliver? For too long, our major influence has been looking at the past, recording financial accounts and income tax returns. So that's necessary, I know we've got to do it. If for no other reason, the law of the land says that. But your clients really need assistance on planning the future. And that's the reason that at ESS BizTools, we've got this emphasis on advisory and the future. Indeed, that's the only reason ESS BizTools exists, is trying to help accountants to have the tools to implement advice on the future for your clients. The facilitator should prepare an opinion questionnaire. Now, within your firm, one of the partners or perhaps even a senior manager could be the facilitator, or you could hire an external consultant to assist you with that process, especially if you're starting this off for the first time. The opinion questionnaire should be distributed to attendees, which would be the partners and the leadership team members, 2 weeks beforehand, even a week or so earlier if you can, so that people can really sit down and think about the items that have been included in this important document. This is looking at matters for the future, how the firm may reorganize itself, how it may make itself more appropriate for your clients. And the opinion questionnaire has been sent to you, each of you, for you to reply to, of course. So send your replies back so that the facilitator can summarize those and understand the fors and against various ideas or proposals, so that they can be put on the discussion paper for the all-important strategic review meeting. Financials. Now, if you're undertaking this process in April, May, June, it's very important that you've got the most recent financial accounts. So potentially 31st of March, may even be 30 April accounts that you have for each profit and cost center that exists within your firm. And remember, this is the model you could be using for your own clients to undertake strategic reviews for them, to sit down and go through this planning process, thinking about the future. I think it's important, and so does Andrew Geddes, that this review is held away from your office to try to avoid disruption. Turn the phones off. I know some people have actually made phones go into a separate box, which is left at the hotel or resort's reception area whilst these discussions are going on. And I like the idea of allocating 2 days for this event, because this is important. This is once a year. It's the parliament of your firm or your client's firm. Don't make it only for a couple of hours. Issues won't get discussed and debated if you do that. the loudest voice will probably win. And that's not really what we're trying to achieve here. So getting started. Now, the next couple of slides, I'm indebted to Andrew Geddes because he's really outlined how he conducts a strategic review meeting. Meet on the first night and have a controlled dinner together. I laughed when Andrew first told me that was one of his key recommendations, but I understand why. He wants this to be a controlled dinner. It's not large quantities of alcohol to be drunk or merriment. It's serious, it's controlled, but let's discuss some of the issues. But no decisions are going to get made at this stage. Let's talk about them. And the facilitator should be prompting this, because by this stage, the facilitator's got the feedback, which in some instances will have different views being expressed on the same subject. Might be an idea to start discussing it, getting some informal discussion. So prior preparation is important because it gives time for people to think and look at the financials, and everyone should have already done that. I hope no one turns up from your firm opening the envelope as they walk into the night before function dinner, opening their briefing material. That should already have occurred. They should be turning up with their brain in gear, ready to perform, exactly as directors and board of advice members should be turning up when they're performing their role. And that means they need to be briefed beforehand. They need to get the information, as do you. It's time to think of the strategic issues, particularly the trends and opportunities that might be available for your firm in the marketplace. What are the trends? Is this concept that accountants would be better off supplying a wide range of advisory service, the trend that you think is applicable for your firm? Food for thought as we go through some of these points today. The controlled dinner is a great opportunity to generally talk about issues without making formal decisions. That's for the next day and the following morning. But at this stage, it's a dinner that's going to have some discussion, but no excessive alcohol or joking or things of that nature. It's meant to be a serious business meeting. So let's go to day one. We've had breakfast, you've been for your walk, you've gone to the gym, you maybe had a swim, and you're ready for this day, away from the office, in a different environment, no phones, no clients to interrupt you. So I've listed here some of the items you might consider. A review of your financial performance up to the 31 March or 30 April of the current financial year. Review of the projections to 30th of June. What's it look like the financial year is going to end up being? Review of the cash flow. And cash flow obviously requires looking at the sub-accounts of work in progress, debtors. What is the total of lockup that your firm's got? It's always a problem within accounting and consulting firms, isn't it? So we review the cash flow. And then we look at a variation on SWOT that has been developed. TOWS, T-O-W-S review. Andrew Geddes believes this is a far more appropriate way for us all to consider businesses. What are the trends that are affecting your firm? What's coming at you? Is it this issue of advisory and the ongoing changes in the tax return regime driven by software companies and the tax office? You might currently be a firm that's heavily involved in preparation of wage earner and salary earner tax returns and micro businesses returns. Well, the tax commissioner gave a warning that we promoted in one of our accountants' minutes about 18 months ago that the software is going to heavily influence the number of people who want to go and pay money to see an accountant have their tax returns done. He said within 3 years. And 1.5 of those years have already gone from when he made that statement. So what trends are going to affect your firm? What opportunities have you noticed in the marketplace? Offering advisory service could be one, but perhaps you've secured a new client in a new industry and you've realized that no one else seems to be servicing that industry. That might be the feedback you got from this new client. So perhaps someone needs to take that industry under their wing and become an expert in it. What are the weaknesses in your firm that need to be fixed? And you need to be honest about these, really come to grips with them. Is your retention rate no good? You attract people to come and work for your firm, but they leave very quickly, within 12 months. That's a very heavy cost for your firm. Perhaps you need to implement a strategy where all new graduates are directly assigned to a senior manager or a partner for the first 6 months. They basically become your shadow. They sit in on meetings, they take the notes, they get a feel for how business really operates. And then you move them on to someone else. It might be in the taxation section, or it might be in something else, might be in your financial planning if you have a financial planning section. This is something that Andrew Geddes is very strong on, that the retention problem is a lot to do with how we allocate the work and give the experience, the knowledge to recently graduated accountants. So that might be a weakness you need to fix. And strengths that can be built on. You've already got strengths, you're in business, but are you doing enough? Are you doing enough promotion? Does the market know what you're doing? Have you really claimed that you are an expert in tradies, for argument's sake? And make yourself known at plumbers conferences and electricians conferences and so on. Get your clients to invite you to go there. Or real estate industry conferences, as I did years ago. I was developing a business plan for a real estate agent. He said, you want to come to a conference tomorrow afternoon? There's going to be some experts there in the real estate industry. I thought, why not? I went. People come up to me and asked me what I was doing there. They knew where I was. Knew I wasn't a real estate agent. And I got a lot more work out of that, because I said, I'm here doing John's business plan. Well, I got other business plans from that group, because they thought I was an expert. I must admit, at the end of that 4.5-hour presentation that I heard someone make, I knew a lot more about real estate agencies. So what strengths have you got in your firm? Trends, opportunities, weaknesses, and strengths. The important items to consider on day one. And as well as that, we looked at threats or risks for the business. We've been through a lot of risk management in the last 2.5 years, haven't we? But unfortunately, it's still here. There's going to be a lot of problems in this next 12 months, 24 months for clients. And those problems could also roll over into accounting firms. So what do you want this business of yours to look like in 3 to 5 years' time? And bear in mind that I'm proposing that you would use something very similar to this with your key clients, your business clients, all of them if you could. Why do we do what we do? Interesting question, isn't it? Don't tell me, yeah, well, you'd rather be out playing golf every day, but we're talking about your business. So the service specializations, should we have more? The firm that Andrew Geddes talked about, with 5 partners and 12 in the leadership team, so there were 7 senior managers and in a total of about 40 staff, had gone through and allocated at least 12 service specializations. There was an expert in the various taxation issues, of course, but then on the research and development, on export market development grant, on raising capital as Section 708 of the Corporations Act, or early stage innovation company, or crowdsource funding equity raising. An expert on succession planning, an expert on predictive accounting, budgets, cash flow forecasts, and projected balance sheets. So have you got those in your firm? And if you're thinking of going into advisory services, you don't have to have 12 from day one, of course. That was a big firm, 40 team members. But you need to be thinking through the specializations. And obviously they should be linked to the requirements of your clients. What do they want? Industry sectors is another big issue. I've already mentioned tradies and real estate agents. There's a whole stack of them. And you can find out more information. There are some accounting practitioners around Australia specialising in the medical industry and legal issues, legal industry. So you can pick particular issues and write articles, go to their conferences, be seen, put details on your website, and you can become accepted as an expert. But you don't have to specialise in just one industry. You could look at a number of industries. Go through your main clients. What industries are they in? Because what tends to happen, once you let it be known that you are very interested in a particular industry, you understand their key performance indicators. You understand how they compare in benchmark comparisons to their competitors. You will get others in that industry. So have you got experts in all of your major industry sectors for the clients you've currently got? If not, I suggest that should be one of the key things that you're looking at and saying, who can they be? And they don't have to be partners, and they don't even have to be senior managers. And in some respects, they don't even have to be accountants. You might employ an ex-bank manager or an ex-property station pastoral manager, those people that work for companies like Primaries and others that service the rural industries. A lot of them are very adept at giving advice on businesses because they've done it all their lives. They can work for accounting firms. Client analysis. Are we offering services which contribute to the growth and financial stability of clients? Have you talked to clients and really asked them a blunt question? Do they want to scale up? If their turnover is currently $1 million, what would they like it to be in 3 or 5 years' time? You might be surprised at some of the answers you get. I've had people say 1 million now, they want to be 10 million by 5 years' time. I say, well, fasten your seatbelts because we're on a fast ride and we've got to make sure we do it properly. Otherwise, we could be a casualty. So do your products and services cover what your business clients need? What are your competitors doing? You should always have an eye on your competitors. Have a look at their websites. If they write articles in newspapers or magazines, have a good look at them. What are they doing? Have they anticipated changes that you never quite saw coming? But you can copy it. There's no protection to them on an idea. Are there any demographic changes that might affect your business? High interest rates could be causing a problem. What else? And are there attitudinal changes that might affect us? Just think it through. Are there government legislative changes that are going to affect us coming down? Obviously, tax changes affect, but is there anything else? Are you happy with the business focus that your firm's got, or are you not happy? Well, now's the opportunity at the forum, day one, to start raising these issues. Are you happy? Do you think the firm's just going on year to year? Hardly any growth. Clients stick with you, but there's no new clients coming in. It's difficult to attract team members, and when you do, they seem to be disappearing again within a year. Does that tell you something? What outcomes do our stakeholders want? That's obviously the partners, but it's also the senior managers and the overall team. It could be spouses, of course. Are changes needed in functional responsibility allocation? Every firm's got someone looking after debtors, someone that's in charge of handling the reception area, making sure it's very presentable and tidy. Someone that's looking after staff training. Is that all working? Or has the same person had the same job for the last 5 years and they're getting a bit stale? Well, change it round. Give them a break. Move them into something else. And refresh the organisation. Because the team might be getting very tired of the same person running staff training for 5 years also. Are you happy with our values? Important questions these days. Our values. Are we creating the right culture in terms of behaviour? And has your firm prepared a document that specifies what the standards are for culture, for behaviour, for communications, for dress, for attendance, for participating in staff training? Is there a linkage from there to whether a person would be able to go with the firm paying for it to a conference at some out of your city location? So there's travelling and accommodation costs. Are any changes needed in our team member strategies? Very important. Because I read article after article that says that accountants have got skill attraction and retention problems. Yet Andrew Geddes believes it's all in our own hands. We have to better assimilate younger graduates into our organisations by giving them variety of work, letting them work alongside an experienced accountant, letting them sit in on client interviews so they get a better feel for what's going on in the real world. Remember, they've been at university or doing PY studies for 5, 6 years when you put it all together. They're now out in the real world. They need to understand how business really functions, not out of a textbook. So look at your recruitment and induction. Is that working okay? And then the training that they're getting internally and the external training. Does all this help your retention? And does this all help make your firm attractive to younger accountants or even experienced accountants who are aspiring to be working in an outstanding firm? Review of marketing and social media strategies, very important these days. Websites, social media posts, newsletter, podcasts. Local media, especially if you're not in the big cities, you won't get in the daily newspapers, but there's a lot of free newspapers, isn't there, in the various suburbs in the big cities. Are you getting articles into them that appeal to your targeted audience? So what matters do you want to raise on those at this meeting? Sales review. I think every accounting firm should have a sales manager because we are selling and it needs someone to be looking at professional selling trends, not only in Australia, but around the world. What are other people doing? What are they highlighting to help in the sales process? I think at least once a year, there should be sales training updates for partners and senior management people. What 3 things do we have to nail this quarter? That's very important, to clearly identify some issues that have to get fixed, not just linger on for 1 or 2 years, because that's not achieving anything. Let's get them fixed. So what are they? Let's put them down. There might be some real debate about that, but let's pick 3 and get them fixed first. And if they're fixed up in 6 weeks, well, you can start adding some others. And what's your pattern of meetings? This is very important as we look at scaling up and growing businesses daily. A 5-minute overview, really wanting to find out if something went wrong yesterday that we need to get fixed. What's the weekly? Now, this could be the partners and senior managers. It could well be in individual teams or should be in individual teams. Weekly meeting. What's the whip look like? How are we going on raising fees? Who hasn't got enough work piled up and coming through to them? Who's got too much? Monthly. What's the monthly? Monthly business review meeting. Quarterly. The suggestion is that there should be a 1 to 2 hour meeting, not 2-day meeting, 1 to 2 hour meeting, just to follow through the implementation of the important decisions that would be made at the strategic review meeting. Board of advice. Have you got one for your firm? Is it worth thinking about? Because if I was you, I'd be making sure your clients that you're trying to advance with advisory services form a board of advice. Why are accountancy firms different? Why would you not have a board of advice? Who would you invite to be on it? Not all accountants, surely. And probably not all partners. One or two of the partners. Obviously, the key decision maker, the person that's got the responsibility of being the CEO of the firm or the chair. Think about it. So the dinner's uncontrolled. So social discussion to talk about issues. Informal discussion over dinner is very important, because outside of the formality of the meeting room, it allows us to attack the issue, not the person. To appreciate a different perspective is different, but it is not wrong. It's an opportunity to flesh out the issues over a few drinks, only a few, note, Mr. Geddes said, and a good dinner. His words exactly. Most of that is his words from our podcast. That help your firm? Okay, let's go to day 2. We've been to the gym or been for a walk or gone for a swim, had your breakfast. So what you're going to do today in this strategic planning is set the plan for the new financial year. This is what this firm's going to do. And hopefully for 2 or 3 years beyond that, there'll be some issues that are noted. That's what we're aspiring to achieve. Adopting the budget, the cash flow forecasts and projected balance sheets. Discuss those issues and basically finish at lunchtime, day and a half. If you haven't already done so, why not organise your strategic review within the next month, the month of July? You will have your actual 22-23 financials finished, or at least in final draft form, I would expect. So you could use them to give you an indication. Obviously, you'd have your interim financials a bit earlier. So it's not too late. If you're unsure how to facilitate this event, if you haven't done it before, there are consultants available. I'd be happy to talk to you if you want to talk to me about that. But the big question is, why not offer this service to your clients? I think you should be using yours as a trial run to see how it works, and then saying, we can sell this concept to clients. Sit down with them and help them plan their future. And this will really enable you to deliver advisory services. ESS BIZTOOLS, we've been writing articles for accountants for over 20 years, for accountants all over Australia and in New Zealand. And we are committed this year to trying to help our profession, accountants, get a better grip of advisory services. Because we've had a lot of dialogue with some American accountants who have really pioneered this whole process in America. And they were driven to do it because of changes in the tax return processing in America. It decreased the amount of work that was available for accountants to undertake, or that the clients were happy for accountants to undertake, quite significantly. But they wanted to keep their experienced accountants involved. And when they talked to some clients about this, the clients met them with open arms. Sure, we want you to do some more work, but we always thought you were too busy doing tax returns. So if there's a reduction in the tax return requirement, the clients were saying, we are quite happy with that because we would like you to do more work for us. ESS BIZTOOLS has already discounted our prices. We have made a commitment this year. We want to help hundreds of more accounting firms to get started on this journey of offering real accounting services to your clients. So we have a special offer. We start with our starter package, which is ideal for bookkeeping firms and smaller accounting firms, or firms who have never thought about doing advisory services and really want to put their toe in the water one at a time. That's all right. Start with our starter package. And we now have it up for an upfront price of $1,529. And I'm going to give you that subscription for 15 months. And that price includes GST. And you're also going to receive, while they last, 2 holiday accommodation packages for 3 nights that you can allocate in your firm on a basis you can determine. Please don't ask me to help you determine who's going to get them, but that's up to you. So that's the starter package. You could also look at our advanced package, which is for a firm that's already done some advisory services work, or a firm that's looking to really get into this and wants to be offering a variety of service to clients quite quickly. We normally have that price at $6,500, including GST, but our special offer is $2,519. And we're extending that for the month of July for 15 months. So you pay $2,519, you've got access for 15 months, and you'll get 2 holiday accommodation packages for 3 nights accommodation, as long as our supply lasts. So to subscribe to ESS BizTools, please go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au, and click on subscription. And you can then identify whether you want the starter package or the advanced package. There is a third package, which is the financial package, which includes access to Plain Guru's software for predictive accounting purposes, but that's not included in this current promotion. But if you're interested in talking to me about that, please contact me. I'm going to give you an email address in a moment. So please visit our website and have a look. We've got 34 product packages in ESS BizTools at present. We are expanding it by another 4 this year. So there's plenty of material to help you deliver services. You can contact us. So there's the email. Send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, if you want to discuss anything that I've discussed with you today, or you want to know more about what ESS BizTools offers. Or you could make a phone call, 1800-232-088, and we'll organise a Zoom meeting. About 45 minutes. I'll talk to you about your firm, your clients, your team members, and what your aspirations are. And I'll tell you what I think ESS BizTools can help you with, the tools that you will then have. Our webinar next week is research and development. Do you want to know more? Research and development is part of the Tax Act, but unfortunately, in my experience, a lot of accountants don't know much about it. Recently, the government published some information on the benefits that were available because of research and development, because I hope you know that if for a business with a turnover under $20 million, if it's trading at a loss and it's been undertaking research and development, it can receive a cash refund of the research and development rebate amount, which the tax office pay within 30 days of the tax return being lodged. But the government had done some calculations on the research and development rebate, the value of it, and that value was working out at about $2.3 billion for firms with turnovers under $20 million. Now that's the target group, the key target group for most people that talk to me. Some have got bigger, some have got clients with 100 million turnover, of course, but most of the smaller ones. So that's saying to me that there is a considerable number of SMEs participating in research and development, so much so that the department that Oz Industry are part of believes that the cost to the taxpayer from that will be $2.3 billion. It's a lot of money. Yet accountant after accountant that I talk to says to me, oh no, we don't get involved in research and development. Well, someone does. That's probably the big firms, but these are your natural clients. Research and development is not complicated. And to prove that, we have produced a step-by-step guide. In fact, there's 12 major segments to it, explaining research and development, holding your hand, guiding you through the process. Please have a good look at it. So, want to find out more? Please join us on Wednesday the 12th at 12 noon, AEST, to find out more. So thank you for participating in this webinar today. I've checked, we don't have anyone in chat. I hope that means that I've answered all your questions. I look forward to hearing from you, because I'd really love you to come to ESS BIZTOOLS and look at our services and products to help you to be able to offer an outstanding range of services. But in the very first instance, for your firm to be able to implement a strategic review on your firm. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye. Thank you. And I look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.